Welcome in Broncos country to the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. My name is Moose, coming to you on your Labor Day, which is also my mom's birthday. So I've only got about 25 minutes today to get a video out for you, but I thought something was very important that needed to be shared between the two of us because, let's be completely honest, there is one specific defensive player on the Broncos that was just asked about the key to victory against the Titans, and I think he let us know exactly what that plan is going to be. Welcome in, like I said, to the Broncos Breakdown. First of all, I just want to say thank you to everybody for the kind words about the wedding in the last couple of videos. That is coming up this Friday, so it's only a few short days away from me. And by the way, I will be back on Sunday for Broncos versus Titans. Our watch party continues on. Going to deliver for you guys. We're going to watch that game together, have a great time, and hopefully see a massive Broncos victory week one. Before I get started, though, I do want to mention that today's episode is, of course, sponsored by Prize Picks. Listen, football is completely back. I don't know if you watched all of the college football games that went on this weekend. I certainly did. But listen, Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action all season long. It's very simple to play. All you do is go to your app store, you click the download button, you pick 2 to 6 players, their stat projections, the more or the less, and you send that bad boy in. You could win up to 2,000 times your money this year with Prize Picks. So do me a favor, if you're going to, head to the App Store, click the download button, and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that is code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. It was tough sledding for me and my Fighting Irish, as you see behind me. But remember, Prize Picks is the best place to win all the real money sports action this football season. CLNS for $50 in lineups after you get your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Okay, so coming to you a little bit differently today, different setup here, and I'm holding the microphone. I'm having some issues right now with the mic, but I did want to say that DJ Jones was asked specifically about what the Broncos' plan is to take care of the Titans week one. And I don't want to get too much into a preview quite yet because that is going to be a video that we make tomorrow on our live show. That is something that you're going to see a little bit later on throughout the week as we get closer to that starting date. I want to give a full preview of exactly how I think the Broncos can handle the Titans. But one thing that DJ Jones kind of let us know was that he said it was 1,000% on the defensive line. He actually said the key to victory was to dominate the Titans' offensive line. And I thought that was really interesting because one of my key to victories, spoiler alert, is to blitz Cam Ward and blitz him often. Now remember, Cam Ward is going into his very first NFL game as an NFL starting quarterback. After watching a lot of his highlight film, not only from last year, but from this preseason, I can tell you right now that he can do damage in a clean pocket. There's a reason he was taken number 1 overall. He's got that kind of nonchalance in the pocket where he's got smooth feet. He delivers the ball quick, it's on time, and he wants to get the ball out fast. However, one thing that I did notice is that when you put pressure on him, when you go up and you blitz him, either on an all-out blitz or a safety blitz or an edge blitz, and you flush him outside of the pocket, he becomes far less accurate than some of the other players that kind of thrive in that style of play. And I want to take you back for about a minute. Let's rewind the tape, and we'll go all the way back to not even a Broncos game, but if you remember, week 2 of Sunday Night Football last year was the Chicago Bears against the Houston Texans. And Caleb Williams, the number 1 overall pick, went out and in the first quarter from a clean pocket actually kind of sliced and diced the Texans on a couple of drives. Well, then DeMeco Ryans started throwing the house at him. Caleb Williams was sacked 6 or 7 times that game, and the Bears lost. And he looked absolutely flustered against NFL pass rushers. That is what the Broncos, I believe, are intending to do. I think they want to be ultra aggressive, especially at home, with the elevation change against a rookie quarterback. Vance Joseph is not going to take any prisoners. I believe you're going to see a bunch of stunts. I bet you're going to see a bunch of different rotations of players, including Jonah Ellis. Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper could end up lining up on the same side. Obviously, they line up opposite of each other, but I think there is an opportunity here for players like Bonito, Cooper, Ellis, and even the defensive linemen in John Franklin Myers and Zach Allen to really get after a mediocre at best Tennessee Titans offensive line. And I say mediocre because if you go back and you look at the ranks from last year, I mean, they didn't really do anything well. But it wasn't the worst offensive line that the Titans have rolled out, but it wasn't necessarily great. I'd have to look specifically at the exact numbers that the Titans rolled out last year with their offensive line. But I can tell you this, it's not nearly as good as what the Broncos have or any of the top 10 teams in the NFL. If I had to put my finger on it, I'd probably say somewhere between 15 and 20. So you can get after these guys a little bit. And Cam Ward, while he is mobile, is not necessarily a dual threat quarterback. He likes to throw from the pocket. That is something that he made a living at Miami, especially last year. As you know, he had players like Elijah Arroyo and Xavier Restrepo that he was feeding the rock to, and they ran a very fast-paced offense, and that's exactly what I think Brian Callahan is going to want to do. But DJ Jones makes a really good point and says the key to victory is 1,000% on the Broncos' defensive line. Now, like I told you, I don't want to get too much into a preview because I've got my other thoughts about what the offense needs to do and what some other areas of the defense have to do. But one spoiler for you is exactly what DJ Jones just reiterated was we've got to dominate the line of scrimmage. We've got to dominate the Titans' offensive line. And there is one player on that Titans offensive line that is going to give you a little bit of havoc, and that is J.C. Latham, who was the Titans' left tackle last year, flipped back over to right tackle, which is his more natural position, something that he played in college. So I believe now you're looking at John Franklin Myers is going to be going up against him. Same with Jonathan Cooper and Nick Bonito if there's a rotation or a flip that Vance Joseph puts in there. But you can fully expect that VJ is going to come out ultra aggressive. I would almost put money on it, right? I would almost make my guaranteed 100% safe bet to be that Vance Joseph sends a couple of all-out blitzes, including the likes of Talanoa Hufanga, who we have seen over the years on tape absolutely be able to climb up into the box and send a safety blitz if he's asked to do it. I think this is a really cool opportunity for the Broncos, especially in the first couple of weeks here, week 1 and week 2 especially against the Indianapolis Colts, where you can establish your dominance and get really good game reps against two opponents that you should, on paper, beat because your roster from head to toe is far better than your opponents. The Titans have a couple of playmakers on both sides of the ball, but nothing like the Broncos have. There's no depth. In fact, the weakest unit on this Titans defense is its linebackers. It's middle of the field. If you can give Bo Nix enough time in the pocket where he can just kind of sit back and wait for something to open up over the middle of the field, he's going to slice and dice him all day long. And that same goes in the running game. You really start to see those linebackers pull up a little bit. Maybe you bounce it out to the outside with RJ Harvey, get into open field and just watch him work. So there are easy ways to win this matchup against the Titans. And again, I'm getting ahead of myself because I told you I'm not going to give you the full preview, but I'll have all of that for you this coming week, even as I make my way back up to Minnesota to get married. Lost my train of thought there for a second. Yes, so DJ Jones coming out saying key to victory is 1,000% on the defensive line, and I think that is absolutely one of them. It's not the only thing. In every single unit, I believe, has a couple of keys to victory that they can use to dominate the Titans. But I think you're going to be seeing a very, very good start here in Denver, unlike years past where you start off 0-2 or even 0-3. So I think getting that first win on the board is crucial for Sean Payton, Joe Lombardi, Vance Joseph, and this coaching staff. I'm really, really excited for week 1. This is the most excited I've been for a Broncos team in a couple of years. In fact, I think the excitement that I'm feeling was only matched when the Broncos first signed Russell Wilson, when Russell first got to Mile High. That's when I feel like I was, because remember, Russ was coming off of being Seattle Russ. It wasn't until, he got into the Nat Hackett style offense, and then you were like, oh boy, this is not nearly as good as we thought. But I'm very, very excited. And I do think that there's a lot of really talented football players to look forward to on this 2025 team. But I don't want to keep you guys for too long. I just wanted to give you a little mini update as to kind of how I'm feeling and what I saw from DJ Jones there. And, I think he hit the nail on the head. I think this Broncos team knows what they have to do. I think they know their game plan. And I think one of those game plans is going to be blitzing Cam Ward and making his life uncomfortable all afternoon long. A reminder to subscribe to the channel. We just passed 39,000 subscribers, which is an excellent milestone. If you want to keep up with the Denver Broncos, I'm going to be giving you content every single day, sometimes twice a day like today. Especially as we get into football season, I'm kind of going to kick it into overdrive for you and make sure that you never, ever miss anything surrounding your favorite football team. So hit that subscribe button. Like the video if you haven't done so already. Also, I do apologize for my voice here. I'm a little hoarse for whatever reason. Woke up this morning and just didn't really have a voice. This is actually a lot better than what I was dealing with earlier as I go to take my sip of water. All right, well, that is going to do it for us on today's episode. I'm going to go enjoy some dinner with my mom on her 59th birthday. So everybody wish Terry a happy birthday down in the comments section. And of course, tomorrow, remember, we're going live. It'll be a little bit earlier. It'll be about 1 p.m. Mountain Time. So if you haven't pulled up, pull up. And as always, Broncos country, the Mile High salute to you. Be cool.